Hi and welcome to Lab 17. In this lab, we are going to cover the third method for inter-process communication, which is using the MK-FIFO function. The MK-FIFO function creates a named pipe which can be used exactly like a file. So if you know how to read and write in a file using the read and write system calls, then this is a very convenient method for achieving inter-process communication. Let us first understand the syntax for using the MK-FIFO function. The header files required are sys/types and sys/stat.h. The MK-FIFO function takes two parameters as the input. The first parameter, the path name, is actually the name of the pipe that you want to create. Okay, so whatever name you pass here as the first parameter will be the name assigned to the named pipe that is created using the MK-FIFO function. The second parameter, which is specified by the mode, is actually the permissions that you want to give on the file. So what permissions you want: read, write, or execute. If the MK-FIFO function is successful, then it returns 0. Otherwise, if it fails, so if it is an error, then it is going to return -1. The advantage here is that this FIFO special file can be used by any process for reading or writing just like a normal file. This means that the sender process can use the write system call to write data into the pipe, and the receiver process can use the read system call to read data from the pipe, hence completing the communication. So to understand this MK-FIFO function in a better manner, you must understand how to use the read and write system call, which we have done in the earlier labs. Very important point to remember is that the FIFO pipe works in blocked mode by default. By the blocked mode, we mean that the writing process must be present on one end while the reading process must be present on the other end of the pipe at the same time. Otherwise, the communication will not happen. Understand this by considering that in a class, the teacher is the sender process and the students are the receiver process. The teacher, that is the sender process, will not speak or will not send any data until and unless the receiver process or the students are there to receive that data. Similarly, the students cannot receive anything until and unless the teacher is there in the class to send or to speak anything, right? So the teacher as well as the students, they operate by default in the blocked mode. That is, they wait for the other process to be there. So in the same manner, in case of named pipes, if only the sender process is there, the communication will not take place. Rather, the sender process will get blocked. It will not proceed further until and unless the receiver is also there to receive the data. The communication can take place in unblocked mode also. So that also we are going to cover in this particular video. So we are going to learn both the blocked mode as well as the unblocked mode. To achieve inter-process communication using the MK-FIFO function, we need to create three separate programs. Okay, so you will have to write three different programs. First one is to create the named pipe. So that will be our first program. The second program will be a sender process. So the second program will be that process, creating that process which is going to write into the pipe. Similarly, we need a third program which will be the receiver process, means the process that is going to read the data that was written by program number 2 into the pipe. So let us look at all these programs one by one. So I have named the first program as mkfifo.c. So it's a very simple program. So initially I have included the header files that are required, and the main code, you can see there's only one key function that I have used, that is mkfifo. Since mkfifo, as you can remember from the syntax, returns something of type integer, hence this return variable is of type int. mkfifo takes two parameters. First one is the name of the pipe. So I have given the name as FIFO1. Second was the permissions. So in this case, I have given all the permissions to the user, to the group, and to others. Okay. So this you can change depending upon whatever permissions you want to give. And at the end, I will close the process by printing named pipe created. So save this, compile it, and run it. So you can see that named pipe created. Now let us check. FIFO1 was the name. So yes, it is created. If you look at the long list, now you can see this is a pipe. It's not a file. Alright. It starts with P. Now, first program is done. We have created the pipe. Now, whichever process wants to send the data, so the sender process can use this pipe and write it into by using the write system call. So I'm going to create a sender.c program. So again, include the header files. And now you can see that initially we need to open the pipe using the open function. So this we have already done, right? Read, write, and open. So open the name of the pipe and the mode. Since this process is going to write, so I have opened this pipe in the write only mode. You can open it in read write mode also, no issues with that. Once the pipe is opened, so the open function will return the file descriptor which is saved in res variable. Now using the write function, write where? In the file descriptor res, which points to the pipe FIFO1. What you want to write? So I want to send the word message. What is the length? 7. So you can count it, MESSAGE, that counts to be 7. So this process is going to write into the pipe what? The word message, whose length is 7. And then I'm simply going to print sender process having PID sent the data. So I'm just printing the PID of this process and saying that it is sending the data. What data is that sent? Message. Where? Into the pipe FIFO1. Okay. Save this, compile it, sender.c. Do compile this using the -o option because that is going to come in handy. So I have given now the output file as sender. Okay, /sender, and you see there's nothing on the screen, but there was a printf function. Can you recall why this has happened? Correct. The named pipe, they work in the blocked mode by default. Why the sender is not able to send something? Because it is working in the blocked mode. Until and unless the receiver is there to receive, there's no point of sending the data. If the process sends the data, it is going to get lost. Alright, so by default it is waiting for the receiver to be there. So we conclude that the receiver has to be there together with the sender, then only some communication will take place. So I have just killed this, press Ctrl C. So what I want is, now I want a receiver also. So my third process is receiver.c. Again include the header files, and in this case also again this process is going to open the pipe. This time I am opening the pipe in read only mode. So I get the file descriptor in res, then use the read function to read from the file descriptor res, where into the buffer how much? Maximum of 100 characters. So this receiver process is going to read from the pipe FIFO1 maximum of 100 characters. And then there will be two printf, reader process having PID started. So this is going to print that the process receiver having this particular ID has started, and then I'm going to print whatever is received by this process. So we're going to use printf data received by receiver is, and then whatever data is received. So I'm printing that from the buffer. Okay, so what we have done, we have opened the pipe in the read only mode, read whatever was there in the pipe. So who had sent the data? The sender.c process will send the data, and we can recall that we have sent the word message. So that message is sent by sender.c, which will be received by receiver.c process, and this particular process is going to print that thing on the screen. Okay, so save this, compile it, again use -o, give it the name receiver.c. Now again, if I simply run this process, only the receiver process, again nothing is going to come because it is running in blocked mode. It has not received anything, so what it can print, right? Now how to run both these processes together? So you need to write sender, use the ampersand sign. This will run this particular process, sender process, in the background, and then I can run the receiver process in the foreground. Now I'm going to run both these processes, sender and the receiver, together, and you can see the entire communication. So sender process having PID 45 sent the data, so the sender sent the data, and then you can see this reader process having PID 46 started, data received by receiver 46 is message. So exactly what was sent by the sender is received by the receiver. You can make some changes if you want to test. So what I am sending now, if I change that here in the right part, so what I am going to send is, let's suppose, new data. So what is the length here? 8. Alright, I'm not going to change anything in the receiver part, okay, because the receiver is going to read from the pipe. So recompile the sender part, rerun both of them together, and you can see the data received is now new data. Okay, hence we have completed the communication between two processes using named pipes or the MK-FIFO function. Now the next thing that we are going to learn is how to run this processes, the sender and the receiver, in the non-blocked mode. That is, you don't care whether both the processes are there or not. The sender must send the data. If the receiver is there, fine, and if the receiver is not there, then also the data should be sent by the sender process. So nothing much to be done. Open the code for sender.c, and while you open the pipe, write here o underscore non-block. That's it. Save this, recompile it, and now when you will run this, you can see that the data is sent. Similarly, if you want to run the receiver in the non-blocked mode, you can make the similar change in the receiver also. So even if the sender will not be there, the receiver will still run. So what we can do is nano receiver.c. So the same change we can make here also, o underscore non-block. Save this, recompile this, receiver. Okay, so we can see that there's nothing that the receiver has received, so there's nothing that is printed here, okay, because we have run the sender and the receiver this time in the non-blocked mode. So it's not actually very handy to run them in the non-blocked mode. So by default, always do the communication in the blocked mode only. For more details on interprocess communication using the named pipes or the MK-FIFO function, you can visit this link. You will also find the program codes there, some Viva questions, and some more practice problems to be solved. As usual, don't forget to share, keep watching, and do subscribe if you have not done so far. See you in the next lab.